just 1 second. So this is called subjective or axiomatic approach. So you're studying these approaches. So this is called subjective or axiomatic approach. Okay, so in this approach, we actually what we do that we take some event and we assign some probability to an event. So instead of finding the probability, we are actually assigning a probability. Okay, and the examples we are doing that, yeah, I remember. So that you know that can also see this thing. So this Rohit Sharma example I gave. Okay, just one thing. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm talking to you. Just I have to do one thing. So the examples you are seeing. This one note. So the examples you are seeing is that like if you take that okay, there's so like you have to invest some money, and you have to invest some money, and it will be less than greater than 0 and less equal to 1,000. And if you invest some money, if you win, then you will get back the double of that money. So like if how is if suppose Barcelona wins or not, this depends upon whether Messi plays or not. If Messi plays, like you can invest rupees 900 or rupees 1,000, then you will get back 900 again or 1,000 if Barcelona wins, because you know that then there is a good chance that Barcelona wins if Messi plays, and if Messi doesn't play, then Barcelona may lose. Then you may invest like rupees 100 rupees or rupees 1, because you know there's a less chance that in this case if Barcelona doesn't play, then Messi. So if Messi doesn't play, then Barcelona will win. So this is the probability you are assigning to the event that Barcelona will win. So the probability we are assigning is 900 by 1000, so 0.9. Okay, so this you are doing with help of your experience or your information. So is this okay? So this is the way, means in this case we don't actually determine the probability, we are assigning probability to an event, and after doing that we do whatever the other study of probability and statistics. And yeah, means this is the thing. Any questions? And so if we do an experiment and if we take the set of all outcomes, we give some name to it. Can you tell me which name? Which name we give to the set of all outcomes?
Probability space.
Very good. And suppose we want to assign the probability to a particular subset of the probability space. So what is the name we call to that, we give to that thing?
Event.
Event.
Right. So actually I first uninstalled the Microsoft OneNote in my computer. Now I am installing it. So that's why it's taking some time. And how these events should be, means how, so if you suppose this is the event that you are taking one, the ball, S balls are there, all identicals, only labels are there, 1 to S. Okay, so in this case what is the set of outcomes? Can you tell me what is the set of outcome in this case?
The probability space here is 1 to S only.
Right. So probability space is 1 to S. And what will be the events?
The event may be made by taking any subset from this probability space. Like we can take 1, 2, 3, 4, or any combination. So if any number is drawn, then we will say that an event has occurred.
Right. So means like suppose you may ask that what is the probability that 1, 3 and S minus 1 will occur. These labels 1, 3, 1 will occur. So that means you are considering these three outcomes, that is giving an event, right? So that means all possible finite subsets you are taking here. The set of outcomes of the probability space is itself a finite set, and you are taking all possible subset of that. But in some cases, it's actually not possible to consider all possible subsets. If the set of outcomes is finite, you can see that we always want to check. Normally, you want to consider all possible subsets if the set of outcomes is finite. But if the set of outcomes is not finite, in this case, it's really not always possible to consider set all subsets of the set of outcomes. So this is something which you will read later. It's not in our course. In some other course, you will read this thing. So not always is possible to assign probabilities to all possible subsets. Okay. But the set of events should be like something. So this should have some nice properties. Like if you say that A has this probability and B has this probability, we should want to means we can talk about what is the probability that either A occurs or B occurs. That is A union B. Then we can ask what is the probability that A and B both occur. That is A intersection B. And we can probably ask what is the probability that A does not occur. That is what is the probability the complement of A occur. So this set of events, if it contains A and B, it should also contain A union B and A intersection B. And it should also contain A complement. Right? So the set of events should contain A union B, A intersection B, and A complement. So this is the properties this A should have. Okay, so this thing is called a field or an algebra. Okay, so suppose we are given that A complement A is in that collection implies A complement is in the collection. And suppose AB is in the collection, R in the collection implies A union B is also in the collection. From this, can you show that A intersection B is also in the collection?
No, sir.
I think you can do this. Try. Suppose A union AB is there implies A union B is there. Okay. And A is in the collection implies A complement is in the collection. From this, can you prove that A intersection B is also in the collection?
क्या? Yes, sir. Using the Venn diagram, I think we can prove this.
Okay, then tell me the proof.
I have drawn this. So imagine two circles in the Venn diagram. So if A union B is there in our collections, so we can start shading it. And then you have said that A complement is also there. So after shading the whole part, we can observe, we can see that A intersection B is also there.
Right. Okay, you're right.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if A and B are in the set, A and B are in the space, and A union B is also there in the space, then its linear combination also lies in the space. So A plus B minus A union B.
First of all, there is no linear combination. Okay. Okay, you can tell me it's not linear combination. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
You tell me what you are telling.
Like if A, B and A union B lies in the space, then A plus B minus A union B also lies in the space.
You are saying A union B, right? Not A plus.
Excuse me, sir.
Is it A union B or A plus B?
Sir, A plus B minus A union B lies in the space. So this is the formula for A intersection B.
What is A plus B?
No, nothing, sir. I am sorry.
Fine. So, okay. I'm sorry that some time was wasted. So I'm writing these things. Okay. So is there any questions about? Is there any questions means about how we means what is the difference between the classical frequency approach and this approach? Any other inquiries do you have? So you see that suppose I don't know why it's just B belongs to A. Okay. This implies A. So this is given. Come on. And A belongs to A. This correction implies A complement belongs to A. Then you take A complement union B complement. So this is belongs to A. Is that fine? Because also B complement belongs to A. So A complement union B complement belongs to A. Is that okay? So this implies so what is A complement union B complement? This thing is nothing but A intersection B complement. This is belongs to A. This implies okay. So please mute your mic, MS Aditya. So A intersection B complement belongs to A. This implies I'm really sorry today this is not working at all. A intersection B belongs to A. So is that okay? So it is enough to just define that A is there implies A complement is there and A P is there implies A union P is there. So this is called algebra. What is this thing? Algebra or field. So this is by definition a non empty collection I don't know how I will teach you this of subsets of omega is called an algebra. If A belongs to, so first of all, this is a non-empty collection. Then A belongs to, in the collection implies A complement is also in the collection. And 2 is for any AB subset of omega which are event, AB belongs to A implies A union B is also in A. Oh, you can do one thing, means if whiteboard works, let's see, you can switch to that if that works at all. This is also one problematic thing, always means problem. Microsoft Whiteboard. Let's see what happens to it. So can all of you see this whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see how this is work. So we see that already something is going on here. So A1 into AN belongs to this implies A1 union AN also belongs to, so this we can do by induction. Okay. Also one can show that if you take any finite intersection, that is also there. Which mesh? It's one word. So for some reason, for some mathematical reason, we normally take instead of 5. Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir, whatever you are writing is not visible on the whiteboard.
It's not visible?
Yes, it's not
No,
visible,
sir.
sir.
No, sir, it's not visible.
No, sir.
So if you drag the whiteboard, then we can see it. Like drag or zoom out, then we can see it.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Can all of you see this whiteboard?
Yes, sir. It
Yes,
is
sir.
taking
Now we
time
can
to. It is
Yeah,
a bit lagging.
I understand.
Now
That's
it's
why
visible.
I always use this OneNote, but today OneNote is not working well. So that's why I have to switch. And later I shall again try to, means after the class, I shall try to fix that OneNote. Maybe we shall, from tomorrow onwards, we shall again take class on OneNote. It's also not working well. Don't know why. So instead of, same problem is occurring also. Instead of finite union, we will take countable union. Yeah, there's some problem to that. I don't know what happens. That means, so if you take, and that is so, this is also very problematic. A1, A2 up to AN. This all belongs to, this implies their union. This is just due to some mathematical reason we are doing this. Okay, their union n equal to 1 to infinity is also in the set. Okay, so do you know how to see this? How to see the Venn diagram? Means, have you seen the Venn diagram? How we see union, how we see intersection, all those things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'm not doing this. So this thing is called, means when instead of taking the finite union, we take countably infinite union, then that thing is called sigma algebra. The previous thing is called sig algebra, and this thing is called sigma algebra. Or called sigma field.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
I still can't see what you are writing.
This is a problem with whiteboard, you know, but what I can do. For today only, so yeah, another plan is to go to the classroom, but I think we haven't got any classroom yet. So Rishabh Dugar has suggested that you open the classroom, open the whiteboard. Then again it will focus on the writing. Mr. Ganashri Konda, please mute your mic. So, what is a sigma field, a sigma algebra? A non-empty collection. So we always take the non-empty thing, okay? Of subsets of omega is a sigma algebra. Bhagat, Nissan, Vidyanand, do you want to ask something?
No, sir.
Then switch off your mic.
Sorry, sir, by mistake.
It's too problematic today. The sigma algebra, if A belongs to this collection is this. A belongs to the collection, this implies A complement is also in the collection. And number two is all AN in the collection implies union of all AN is a countable union is also in that collection. So I am telling this a non-empty collection. Okay. So can you tell me that whether the full set omega or the empty set are also in that collection? Avanti Eladu, please mute your mic. Can you tell me that whether the full set omega and the empty set are also in the collection? Anyone can tell me? No idea? So this is a non-empty collection, right? So A belongs to, suppose, the collection. This implies A complement is also in that collection. So this implies A union A complement and A intersection A complement is in the collection. And what are these two things? These things are the full set omega and the empty set. These are also in the collection. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now some examples. Can you give me some examples? Let's see how many examples you can give to me. Please give me just one example. No examples you can give me? Mr. Anurag Bharti, any example?
Sir, not that I can think it right now.
Okay, give me any finite set.
So any finite set, so rolling a dice has a finite set of outcomes from 1 to 6.
Okay, so I am taking s is equal to 2, the smallest, the easiest thing. Okay, one of the easiest thing, s is equal to 2. So, what are the outcomes then? What is the omega? 1, 2?
Sir, yeah, yes, sir.
So, what is the collection? Collection is a non-empty collection of subsets of omega, right? So, we have to take some subsets. Give me some subsets.
Sir, phi 1, 1, 2, and 2.
Phi 1, 1, 2, and 2. So that means you are taking all the subsets, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is called, what do you know what this is called? Do you know?
Sir, sample space.
No, this is called power set, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, sir.
Yeah, sample space is this thing. This is the sample space. This is the sample space. Sample space or probability space. So this is the power set of the subset 1, 2, which is equal to omega. Now, what about this thing? Is this a so in the break? I shall try to fix the one node. If it is fixed, then we shall go switch to the other after the break. Okay, so what can you say? Is this a sigma algebra? What is your idea? Is this a sigma algebra? Who to pick now? Yes. Elra Apurva, are you here? Gaurav Gurjar. Gaurav Gurjar. Gyananda Behura. Anyone here? Please tell me whether this is a sigma algebra or not. This you can check to be a sigma algebra. Is a thing. So A1 belongs to there. What is the complement of 1? What is the complement of 1? 2. This belongs to 2. So this belongs to A. And 1 and 2, these are in A. This implies their union so this is equal to 1, 2 is also in the collection. Okay. So in general, second example is a sigma initiate take all possible subsets. Okay, take the collection of all possible subsets. Which is called the power set. Which is called the power set that is in sigma algebra. Okay, so we stop we take the break here. I'll try to fix this problem. If it doesn't work, we have to do something else. Okay. So if take a break here. Okay, welcome back. So I hope now this my OneNote will work properly. So we shall use the OneNote again. Okay, I'm sorry for all this disturbance, but yeah, I couldn't do anything. Okay, so can all of you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
के लिए और ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 6 विकेटों की।
रघु शर्वनी ज्ञानेंद्र, तुम्हें बड़ी चुल मची है लोगों की लव स्टोरी सुनने की, हैं?
Okay, so I'm sorry. So there was some problem with the image team. They couldn't connect for the last probably 10 to 15 minutes. So now can you see the OneNote? Now I hope the OneNote will work. So,
Sir.
yes, sir. Can you see the OneNote now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you should work with OneNote. So we are saying that we are doing this sigma algebra, right? And okay, so we gave some examples of sigma algebra. Not fully recovered. Still not fully recovered. I don't know what to do, but better. Okay, so power set. We got the power set of any set. which is denoted by 2 power this. Also, if A is a subset of omega, then this thing is also a sigma algebra. NT in the full set. I don't know, it was working fine, now it's not again not working. A complement. Okay, so I don't know what to do. I can do one thing. It is very terrible idea that I just scan this, send to you, and then read. For today, I can do this. But I have not written in a good way. It also takes up 5 minutes time. Okay, I better do this. I'm stopping for now. Okay, I will come back again in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I shall try to come back. Then, by then I will upload this note, whatever I have written. Okay, so hello. I have presented one page. Can you see this page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, yeah, for today only we shall do these things. I hope from tomorrow onwards I will be able to fix this problem. Then we shall again use the OneNote and we shall teach there. So now, because we have seen how the sigma algebra would be. Okay, so this has this properties that if you take if in non-empty collection, if you take any subset of this any event, if you take there its complement will be also in that collection, and if you take a countably many events, then their union is also in that collection. So now we have fixed the sigma algebra. Now we have to assign probabilities to the event. Okay. So probability. So you can understand that probability of an event is a non-negative real number. That you can understand. Zero less equal to PA and less equal to P1, because we have the probability less equal to 1, and as as omega, this contains all possible outcomes. That's why the probability of omega will be equal to 1. Okay. Now, in this example, okay, I cannot show the example. So, in those examples, all the things, if you see that if you take two disjoint events A and B, okay. So, in that previous week's example, if you see that when the isotope is decaying, if you take two disjoint intervals, in this case, the probability PA union B will be PA plus PB. So this property we want. That means by induction, if A1, A2, A and N mutually disjoint sets or events, then the probability of AI, where I union of AI, where I from 1 to N, equal to summation I equal to 1 to N PAI. So here this is important that this A1 into N are N mutually disjoint sets. Then we can do this. Again, for mathematical reasons, we has demand that the additivity property hold for countable collection of disjoint events. So that's why this is the probability measure we define. A probability measure P on a sigma algebra of subsets A of a set omega is a real valued function which has this property is P of omega equal to 1, P of A greater equal to 0 for any A in any event, and if A n equal to 1 to goes on mutually disjoint sets in the collection A, then P of union A n equal to 1 to infinity is equal to summation P A n where n equal to 1 to infinity. So the function, the real valued function defined on the elements of the sigma algebra. Okay, so this defines on the events. So we want to define the probability on the events. So that means this real valued function is defined on the sigma algebra, and which has this property, that is the whole set, that is the set of all outcomes has probability 1. It has always probability either equal to 0 or greater than 0. And if A's are mutually disjoint sets, then this union has the probability equal to summation n equal to 1 to infinity PAN. A probability space omega A P is a set which is A, and a sigma algebra of subsets of omega, and a probability measure defined on A. Any questions you have? Please tell me if you have any questions, because this is a very crucial part. Then we go and see some examples. No questions? Okay, then we go to the next page.
పన్నెండు నుంచి ఒకటి క్లాస్ ఉంది, ఒకటికి పట్టుకెళ్ళిపోతాను వెంటనే. అలా వెంటనే అదే అడుగుతున్నా నాన్న, ఇంకా తొందరగా ఏమైనా తీసుకురావాలా నాన్న? 1 గంటకి తీసుకొస్తే పర్లేదు కదా?
Please, Venkatas, Ramana, Srikar, mute your off. Okay, now, okay, this is a little bit hazy. So, some examples. A box has identical balls. We have seen this example before. So, which is labeled 1 to S. Now, omega is, so this is omega is the all possible outcomes of this experiment. So, we randomly pick one ball. That is the outcomes will be either 1 or 2 up to S. So, omega is a finite set having S points, and A is a collection of all subsets of omega. Then PA, if you take any subset of omega, that is an event. Any subset, because the finite set, you are taking any subset of omega, that is an event which we call denoted by A. Then the probability of A will take mod A, is the number of elements in A, by S. It is the number of elements in omega. This is by the classical definition, this is the probability. This is the probability we assign to this experiment. So here PA is equal to mod A by S, the number of elements in A by S. And this is also called a symmetric probability space, as each point of the set, each point set carries the same probability 1 by S. So if you take any point, suppose some 1, then this this 1 point set 1 or 1 point set 2, they have the same probability 1 by s. That's why this is called symmetric probability. Now, we recall that experiment that is when a certain isotope in which time this will decay to a stable form. In this case, the all possible outcomes are all possible times, that is from 0 to infinity. And what will be A? So this is one crucial thing, that what will be the events on which we want to assign probabilities. We know that if this event is an interval t0, t1, then we assign probability to t0, t1 to be e power minus lambda t0 minus e power minus lambda t1. So these are obviously events. So this in all intervals t0, t1 are intervals or events, but we don't know what are all the events. But the collection of events has this property. Varshita, please mute your mic. So the collection of events have these properties that they are closed under complement and countable union, and this is the probability. So A, we don't know what will be the elements. Yes, sir.
Can you slide to the first example again, please?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So what is the question you have?
Sir, can you explain it again, because we felt it was a bit fast.
Okay, so it's fine. Yeah. So what is the means? A box has identical balls, S identical balls, and the labels are 1 to S. So what are the possible outcomes in this experiment? If you randomly pick one ball, what are the possible outcomes?
1 to S.
Right. So the set of our outcomes of the probability space or the sample space is omega equal to 1 to up to S. Now we have to say what are the events. So we define that the collection of events are all subsets of omega. Okay, finite set. And suppose what is the probability of the pick ball will be 1, 2, 10, 11, S minus 2, this. If you take any subset, we want to assign probability to that subset. So the set of event A is the collection of all subsets of omega. Now, what probability you want to assign to an event A? Tell me that. So in this case, so suppose what is the probability that the ball you picked has label either 1 or 2 or 5. So this is the classical approach, right? So in this case, the probability is 3 by S. Similarly here, PA is equal to mod A by S. Okay. So the number of elements in A by S. And this is called symmetric probability, as each 1 point set carries the same probability 1 by S. So here you see that we want that if two subsets have the same cardinality, that means their probability is same. That's why this is called symmetric probability. Okay, if two subsets have the same probability cardinality, then their probability are same. Is this okay? Gopi's Sarvani?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now the second experiment is that when a isotope will decay to its stable form. So the possible outcomes are all possible time. That means omega is equal to 0, infinity. And what will be A that we are searching, trying to figure out. So if we know that if we saw in that experiment that if this is a time interval, if the event is a time interval t0, t1, then we can assign the probability P T0 comma T1 equal to e power minus lambda T0 minus e power minus lambda T1. So the collection of events should contain the intervals because we can assign probability to intervals. Okay, and also the collection of events should be closed under complements. So if you take some event, this complement should be also there because this is by the definition of a sigma algebra, and A is a sigma algebra, and this should be closed under countable union. Okay, so this sigma algebra A should contain all intervals T0, T1 and also complements countable unions. So this is really very means this is probably not possible to express one element or one event in this case in a to describe an event is not possible. We know that all intervals are there, but we can say okay, there exists a sigma algebra which contains all intervals T0, T1. And yeah, and you can say that all subsets of A are not events, means you will get some subset of 0, infinity which is not an event in this case. Now it's come to uniform probability space. This is also another type of example. Now take S be the interval 0, 100. So omega is in our case is S, and let A be a sigma algebra or sigma field containing all the intervals A, B, where 0 is equal to A less than B less equal to 100. Okay, this 100. So it is reasonable to measure the size of an interval by its length, right? So you want to measure the size of an interval by its length. So two sets have the same sign if they have the same length. Okay. So more generally, if S is a subset of an n-dimensional Euclidean space R power n, having non-zero and n-dimensional volume, and let A be a sigma field containing all cubes in S. So all cube. So if we have cube, we know how to compute the measure or how to compute the size of a cube, the volume of a cube. Then probability of picking a point randomly from a cube is mod cube by mod S. So what is mod cube? Is the volume of a cube by volume of the S. So is this okay? So in this case, we take the measure of something, some event by the size of a means suppose we have to pick a point randomly from that particular subset, from particular cube. The probability is the volume, the size of the cube by the volume of S. This is the probability. Means probability of picking from any part is same. That's why this is called uniform probability. That's why this name uniform probability space comes. Any question here? I know this should be, I should have read these things, but I can't do. Okay, so one example of uniform probability space. So let a point be picked at random in the unit square. So this is the unit square. Compute the probability that it is in the triangle bounded by x0 equal to 0, y0 equal to 0, and x plus y equal to 1. So this is the triangle. Okay, this is a triangle. So what is the volume of this triangle? Can you please tell me? Any of you?
So we calculate area, no? Not volume.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So in this case, volume means area. So what is the area of this triangle?
1 by 2.
1 by 2. And what is the area of the unit square?
1 unit.
1. So what is the probability of that we pick a point from this triangle?
1 by 2 on 1.
1 by 2 by 1. So this is half. Right. Now take some little more difficult thing. So find the probability that it is also the triangle bounded by y equal to 0, x equal to 1, and x equal to y. So that means this triangle, right? X equal to 1. So 1 means no, this triangle. So this triangle, this. So that means find the probability that it also in the triangle bounded by y equal to 0, x equal to 1, and x equal to y. That means this point will be in the intersection of this triangle and this triangle. That means the probability, the point will be in this triangle. So what is the area of this triangle? So area of this triangle is half into 1 is the base and height is half. So is equal to 1 by 4. So probability is 1 by 4 by 1 is equal to 1 by 4. Okay. Any questions?
No,
Now,
sir.
okay. Suppose we have some probability space is given. Probability space is given means the sample space is given, the set of events, the sigma algebra of events is given, and also we have defined the probability of the sigma algebra of events. Suppose A and B are two events which have this, like the probability of A is 2 by 5, the probability of B is 2 by 5, the probability of A union B is equal to half. Then you have to find the probability of A intersection B. Okay, from this, can you tell me whether A intersection B is empty or not? Tell me whether A and B are mutually disjoint or not.
So they are not mutually disjoint.
No,
Why
sir.
so? Why so?
Because PA plus PB does not equal to PA union B.
Right. So what is PA plus PB?
4 by 5.
4 by 5.
4 by 5.
4 by
And
5,
what is
sir.
P union B is equal to half. So these two things are not same. That means A and B are not mutually disjoint. Because if A and B are mutually disjoint, then PA plus PB equal to PA union B. Okay. So we have to find some PA intersection. We have to find the A intersection probability of A intersection B. So there is one certain formula for this, and we will use that formula. Okay. We shall try to find or establish that formula. So first is that PA union B equal to PA intersection B complement, means this part, plus PA complement intersection B, this part, plus PA intersection B, this part. So why we have done this way? Can you tell me what is the advantage we will get in this way? Here A intersection B complement, A intersection B, and A complement intersection B, all three things are mutually disjoint, right? So we can write PA union, and their union is A union B. So we can write PA union B equal to PA intersection B complement plus P probability of A complement intersection B plus probability of A intersection B. Fine. So we have some relation between the probability of A union B and the probability of A intersection B. But we don't know what is probability of A intersection B complement plus and probability of A complement intersection B. So can you tell me how to find these two probabilities? Again, you see that we can write A as A intersection B complement union A intersection B. So that's why by this third property of measure, third property of probability of A intersection B complement plus probability of A intersection B equal to probability of A. So P A intersection B complement plus P A intersection B equal to PA. That implies PA intersection B complement equal to PA minus PA intersection B. So what we are doing, we are just, because we don't have A, B, these may or may not be disjoint. But if we take this way, that A intersection B and A intersection B complement, these two things are mutually disjoint and their union is A. So for this we can write this, we can use that third property of probability, and we get that probability of A intersection B complement equal to PA minus PA intersection B. Similarly, probability of A complement intersection B equal to PB minus PA intersection B. So we put these two things here and we will get PA union B equal to PA minus PA intersection B. We have put this. Now we shall put this. So plus PB minus PA intersection B plus PA intersection B. We can go back and see this. Yeah, from this we just got the values of PA intersection B complement and PA complement intersection B. We have put these values. We have got this. So this is equal to PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. Okay. Now we know what is the probability of A union B is half. What is the probability of P and PB is 2 by 5 and 2 by 5. So just use this formula. So half equal to 2 by 5 plus 2 by 5 minus PA intersection B, which is, so PA intersection B equal to 4 by 5 minus half, which is 3 by 10. So see that this formula PA union B equal to PA plus PB minus PA intersection B, this formula we are using and we are finding PA intersection B. So in the next part, we shall, from the definition, we derive some properties of probabilities which will be required throughout the course. So using these properties, we shall do many computations, we shall find the probability of many events and derive some other formulas. Okay, so these are very necessary formulas. So these we shall see now and we shall prove all these formulas also. So here omega is that sample space, A is the collection of events. So this is a sigma algebra and P is a probability on that sigma algebra. So this is a probability space. And all sets means which will say, right, A, B, these are this which are the events means the elements of this A. Okay. Any questions you have, please ask me. No questions? Okay, now this formula we have solved, this property we have seen before. The probability of A union B equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. Okay, so we are now deriving this property again. Now the next property is PA complement equal to 1 minus PA A. Can you tell me why this is true? The probability of A complement we can write as 1 minus PA. Why is so? Okay, this is because A and A complement, these two are mutually disjoint events. Okay, so PA complement union A is equal to omega. So P of omega is equal to 1. So PA complement is equal to 1 minus PA. So from this we can derive that P, the probability of the empty set, is equal to 1 minus probability of the full set, omega. So equal to 1 minus 1 equal to 0. Okay. So the empty set has probability 0. That is very obvious, right? Because you cannot choose anything from the empty set. So the probability is always 0 here. Now, if A is subset of B, then the probability of A is less equal to PB. So this is also goes with matches with our intuition. If you take something bigger, that should have bigger probability, larger probability. So how we will prove this? So we can write B as A intersection B union A complement intersection B. And A intersection B and A complement intersection B, these two are mutually disjoint events. So we can write the union PB as PA intersection B plus PA complement intersection B, and which is PA because PA is a subset of B, and so A intersection B equal to A. So this is PA plus PA complement intersection B, and this is something non-zero. PA complement intersection B is something non-zero. So that means PB is greater or equal to PA. Now 1 minus P of an n equal to 1 to infinity equal to P of intersection an complement. So here all the an's are events or the collect some element from that sigma algebra A. So A union of an is the event that at least one of the an or one of the events an occurs, and its complement is none of the an's occur, which is an complement intersection. So union of an means at least one of the events occur, and intersection of an complement is none of the events occur. So these two things are complement to each other. One is the complement to other. If you take union of an, so its complement is the intersection of an complement. So there's none of the, so the probability that at least one of the an occurs is 1 minus the probability that none of the events will occur. Okay, and this is true by De Morgan's law. What De Morgan's law says that union of an complement equal to an complement intersection. Okay, so why we do this thing? Because sometimes in some instances it is easier to compute, suppose this thing, this an complement intersection, it is easier to compute maybe. So in that case, by computing this, we will compute the probability of union an equal to 1 to infinity. Any questions? So all of you have seen the De Morgan's law? Have all of you seen De Morgan's law?
Yes, sir.
So any questions till now? Anyone, please ask me. This is the, I probably going very fast, probably going fast, I don't know. You have to tell me that. So now one example, a box has 10 balls, 1 to S. A ball is picked at random, and then a second ball is picked at random, from the remaining 9 balls. Find the probability that the number on the 2 selected balls differ by 2 or more. Probably these two things, these type of examples or exercises probably you have done in your higher secondary. So, what is the probability that the number on the 2 selected balls differ by 2 or more? How will we approach this problem?
Sir, we can first calculate the probability that it differs less than 2. That will be easier, and then
right. Okay, so very good. So take this. This is the first event A1. A1 means the second ball is first ball plus 1. And A2 is the second ball is first ball minus 1. So what is the probability of A1? You can see these things. So what is the probability of the A1? So if we take 1, so in A1 the second ball will be 2, right? If we take 2, the second ball will be 3. This way, if we take 9, the second ball will be 10. So we can go from 1 to 9. So it has 9 elements in this event A1. And total number of events is what? What is the total number of events in this random experiment?
100.
Why 100? It's not 10 by 10. You see that a ball is picked at random.
90.
90, sir.
90.
Then a second ball is picked at random from the remaining 9 balls. So how do you get 90? How do you get 90? Please explain me. 90 is correct.
First, we can take any one of the 10 balls, then 10C1, and then any one of the 9 balls, 9C1. We are doing end, so multiply it.
Okay. So it will be
Yes, sir.
10 into 9 equal to 90. Right? So total number of outcomes is 90. And the outcomes in A1 is 9. So what are the outcomes in A1? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. This way,
Sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, I think it will be not 9. I think it will be 18. Because 1, 2, and we have also have to include 2, 1 also, no?
No. The second ball is the first ball plus 1.
Sir, they differ by 2, means the first ball and second ball differ by 2. It means that second ball can be greater, right? First ball can also be greater.
As of now, I am not considering that event. I am considering only this event, that the second ball is first ball plus 1. Only this event I am considering now. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, after I finish, then you will tell me your approach. Okay? I will hear from you. So the first ball will contain, this A1 will contain 9 outcomes. 9 outcomes. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, this way up to 9, 10. So this probability of A1 is 9 by 10. Similarly, probability of A2 will be 9 by 10. Because here the outcomes are 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, up to 10, 9. Starting from 2 to 10. So 9 by 10. The elements in the event A2 is 9. So 9 by 10. And you see that A1 intersection A2 is empty. So by that property, P of A1 union A2 is equal to PA1 plus PA2. So 18 by 90. So 1 by 5. And what is the probability and what is the event this number that the 2 selected balls differ by 2 or more? That is complement of A1 union A2. Right? this is that the two balls, the number in the two balls differ by 2 or more, that is complement of A1 union A2. So that event will be 1 minus P A1 minus, the probability of the event is 1 minus P A1 minus union A2 equal to 1 minus 1 by 5 equal to 4 by 5. Because we know if we take the complement, then suppose A complement has probability 1 minus PA. We are just using that. Okay, now tell me what your approach was.
Sir, mine was also the same, but I was not considering them differently. I was just calculating A1 and I knew that A2 will be double of A1. So I was doing like that.
Okay, so
Means
I don't.
A2 and A1, A2 and A1 will have same number because 1, 2 and 2, 1. So every set in A1 will also occur in A2, but in different way.
Right, they have the same number of elements they have, right? So is this okay? That the next property is PA union B less equal to PA plus PB. Why is so? Can you tell me why is so?
Because PA union B equals to PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. So if PA intersection B is 0, then the equality holds, otherwise it will be lesser.
Very good. So that means the property, this is the property, that is PA union B equal to PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. Now this is PA intersection B is greater or equal to 0. So PA union B is less equal to PA plus PB. So here you see that this equality happens only if the PA intersection B is 0. Or we know that this equality happens if A and B are mutually disjoint. This happens like this is the definition of probability, right? That if two events are mutually disjoint, then their union has the probability equal to PA plus PB. But if we take any two sets, they may have or may not have intersection, then we cannot just say what is the relation between PA union B and PA plus PB. But we can say that PA union B less equal to PA plus PB. Okay. If we generalize this thing, yes, yes, madam.
Sir, can you please explain why in the previous problem PA1 equals to 9 by I mean why is it 9?
Okay, I'm explaining. I'm trying to explain it. Okay. So how you tell me just one element of this event. So event means all possible outcomes or some set of outcomes. So tell me one such outcome.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, our next class has started. Can I?
Okay, I understand. So please leave only who has asked the question. If she is free, she can ask. Otherwise, we have to stop. Okay, then we may stop now. We will stop now and again meet tomorrow. Okay, I hope by then this will be solved. This one no problem. Yes, Sharna Das, are you asking something?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir, will you share these slides today?
Yeah, yes, I will share this slides.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we will meet again tomorrow.